Sorry, this is not an MTV Cribs episode, but today we're going to talk about how to turn setbacks into setups so you can conquer any challenge in your life. Today we're doing something different. We're going to talk about mindset, which is something you've requested, specifically how to turn setbacks into setups. And I thought this would be pretty appropriate to film in my 1,800 square foot Airbnb that I've been living in the last 4 months. And as you can see, it's kind of in a state of chaos. I'm pretty much running my multiple 7-figure a year business from this command center. Kids' stuff is all in boxes right now. This is actually really clean, if you can believe it. Everything is within like hand reach. I've never lived in quarters this tight. And for me, this feels like a massive setback and something that you probably wouldn't expect somebody to even share on social media who is in kind of the position that I've built myself to, where I need to project strength and project always growing and always getting to the next level, or this might cost me business, right? The biggest lesson that I have learned through this setback of what's appearing as like, wow, like this is a massive setback, like your business isn't going to the level that you wanted it to the last 2 years because, well, frankly, I've had to deal with personal matters. My physique hasn't gone to the level where I feel it should be based on how long I've been at the game for, right? My life hasn't gone to where I expected it to be. And I think the big lesson is just redefining success. And I think so many of us get to these spots in our lives where we do not expect to be where we are right now. I did not expect to be 44 years old and running my business off of a desk with the inability to even get in and out of the chair, and to be cooking and cleaning for my 3 kids on my own, with all my freaking boxes out on this little gazebo back here, which I can't even use because I've got all these boxes back here, and just not knowing where I'm gonna be next. I gotta find a new place, and I don't know if I'm gonna be here for a year. I don't know if I'm gonna be here for the rest of my life. I hope not, but that's a possibility. And I'm sharing all this because these are all setbacks. These are all things that did not go according to Vince's plan. And I had a moment here with my kids. We were sitting over here, and Flavia came by, and we had to tell the kids that we aren't going to Tennessee. We had to delist them from this incredible school that they were enrolled into, that we applied 2 years ago and we were accepted. And we didn't apply last year because we were recently separated. And then this year we applied again because we thought we were all going to be down there as separated, but still in another country and sorting out our affairs down there. And the kids were set on going to Tennessee. They love it down there. And we had to tell them that we're not going. You know, I asked them, what do you feel? What are your thoughts? You guys have any questions? And it was interesting. Obviously, my oldest was very sad and she cried. And then when things kind of like calmed down a bit, I said, what are you guys gonna miss most about Tennessee? And the funny thing they all said was the size of the house. So kids do care about the size of the house, but then I said, why? And they're like, because we can play. I'm like, they can play here, because we have a pool, because it's super hot there. But they said, you know what it doesn't have is that trampoline back there. Why do they want the trampoline? Because they can play with dad and they can laugh and dad can wrestle them. We don't need a big, massive house to do that, right? Anyone can build a big house, but the question is, can you build a home? The biggest lesson I've learned is that you need to reverse engineer your life around the desired emotional end state that you want. I was making so much money. There's so much money in the bank. I would have to ask myself, why did I keep pursuing more? I never actually stopped once in over 10 years to actually ask myself, what do I want to feel at the end of the day? And what I want to feel is a sense of peace. And I didn't even have peace. Making millions and millions of dollars a year, I did not have peace, because peace comes from the inside. It comes from contentment, which is a word people think is associated with laziness or settling, and it's not. It's coming from being grateful for what you have and for who you're becoming in the process. So how am I redefining success now? Well, I've got so many things that I want to do now. For instance, I'm taking the kids away for a full week trip with zero work to Southampton. We're gonna go on a fun vacation. We're gonna go on a ski trip in the winter. We're starting to plan a trip to Italy. I'm doing Duolingo finally. I've been saying I wanna learn Italian. I'm on a 5-day streak. I'm doing things that I never did before. I'm connected with my family. I'm taking trips. I'm connected with my brothers, with my parents. I'm actually alive. I feel like I'm engaged, and my world doesn't just revolve around work, 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 success, fame, growth, etc. And I'm excited. I am present in the moment. I'm starting to get back into running. I'm looking forward to finding a different place in Toronto to explore new areas. I'm looking forward to continuing to stabilize my coaching program and make the offer better and better so that we can truly impact people's lives, and so that this business has deep roots that are going to go a long time, and not just built around, hey, let's just try and scale. Let's try and stabilize and make sure everybody else around us is stabilized too. My goals have really shifted. I want to be more engaged in my faith. I'm in my Bible every day. I'm doing a devotion every day. I'm at church and I'm focusing on being more obedient and more faithful and allowing God to work. I'm not putting as much pressure on myself anymore. I'm allowing Him to lead. And I'm waking up with much more peace now than I did when I was making well over $500,000 consistently every single month. And these are all things that I had to learn through suffering, and I am going to ensure that I don't waste any of it. Now, am I going to misstep again? Most likely. I've also decided we are going to pursue the visa, but if we don't get it, we don't get it. We got to do the vaccine waivers. If they accept us, they accept us, but I'm not going to go try and figure out how to get in the system illegally, because that's taking things back into my power. I'm going to trust if we're meant to be there, God's going to get the glory. I've really redefined success as staying as closely aligned to God's will for my life and focusing on relationships and connections instead of fame, power, fortune, and pleasure, which are the 4 things all of us men get obsessed about. And just trying to stay as closely to God's will as possible and not confusing my desires with His will, and being open to where He's leading, even if it doesn't look like what I exactly want. And in all that, I've experienced more freedom and peace than I ever had in my entire life. It's tough to say I had to go through all this pain to discover this, but I'm definitely not going to waste it. I've also found a new life for fitness, and I'm excited about creating fitness content again. I'm excited about learning about fitness. I'm not taking all the fitness stuff I learned for granted. I'm really excited about setting new standards for myself so I can be a better role model for my kids. All of this is all setups for the future from Setbacks. So I hope whatever you're going through in your life, if you're having a setback, something that feels unfair or confusing, and you're just upset, look for the opportunity to grow from it. How is this going to help you become the next best version of you? Why is this happening for you and not against you? And if you can look at it as from that lens of this is a positive that's happening, this is not a negative. This is all for you. This is not against you. This is going to build you. You've been planted. You haven't been buried. And when you have this perspective, you're going to start to embrace what you're going through, because it makes your story unique, and ultimately you're going to have more people to inspire. And I believe that a lot of our wounds from our life are actually wombs for other people to birth new growth from. Thanks for watching. I hope this inspired you. Don't forget, level up or you're going to level off.